Hello, thank you for joining us in today's webinar. This webinar is powered by DigiGrad, an EdTech initiative by Social Beat, one of India's fastest growing marketing agency. Today, our webinar topic is digital marketing growth hack for today's entrepreneurs. And our speaker is Hitesh Motwani, co-founder of Skillopedia. He is a digital marketing expert, speaker, and a trainer. He is a firm believer in the value of online voice and has unique experience in including and executing digital and social marketing program in corporates brand building program. Now, recently, he has been in this industries for a decade now, and recently has experienced training one of the largest group of 30 plus students and entrepreneurs on digital marketing. Now, before we start this webinar, a short reminder that you can place all your questions in the comment section, and it will be taken in the Q&A session. Now, over to Hitesh to continue with the presentation.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. It's really a pleasure to having me over here, and thank you so much to the DigiGrad team and Social Media team as well. So first of all, to all the folks on YouTube, how are you guys doing? I hope everything is fine at your end. And let me just tell about the format of the session. For the first 45 minutes, I'll be presenting a topic today on growth hacking. In the last 15 minutes, we will keep it for the Q&A rounds, right? So I hope that you're also super excited the way excited I am to present to you today. So let's kickstart the webinar today. So first of all, today I'm going to show you how can you start doing growth hacking for entrepreneurs. Now, whether you're a business person, startup, growth hacking is a very loose term, and I'm sure that you must have heard about this term before as well. But let's quickly understand that, what exactly is growth hacking and how does it function? What does it do? So growth hacking is not, just a loose term, which normally people just use left, right, and center. It's a term which represents growth of any company. In fact, all the big firms, so firms like Facebook, Airbnb, your Zomato, they all have grown up because of growth hacks itself. So today's session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover a couple of topics for you. First things first, I'm going to cover what's growth hacking. Then I'm going to touch upon why should you have growth hacking mindset. Then I'm also going to touch upon different ways to growth hack. Finally, what are the different tools? And I'm also show you some case studies on growth hacking as well. So first, let's understand what exactly is growth hacking. As I told you, it's a method in which the only option, to make company grow is by using some smart techniques and some digital marketing tools which can help you to figure out about your competition and also increase your sales as well. So a typical growth hacker has three skill sets. The first skill set that he has is something called as creative marketing. That means he understands psychology of people. He understands where to put the button, how to put the buttons, what kind of color schemes would work. In fact, a lot of neuroscience has been used in growth hacking. Second thing is it's also about getting rid of the mundane tasks. For example, reporting, or doing some hacks, doing A/B testing. So all of these things come under automation engineering. So growth hacker is familiar with a lot of automation tools. Now, one of the most preferred automation tool in the industry is this tool called Zapier, through which I can typically automate and I can make two softwares talk to each other. For instance, let's take for example that if you're an entrepreneur and you start running advertising campaigns on Facebook and Google, you'll have to basically manually go and download the leads every single time. But with the Zapier and Google Sheets, you can combine both of them together, and I can actually push in the Facebook leads to Google Sheet automatically. And then the team who's going to follow with the leads can also check the leads on their own with a simple automation tool, which is Zapier. And the last thing is a growth hacker is also known for experimentation. See, growth hacking is not rocket science. It's all about having the smart experiments which one can do to figure out which is the winning combination and which is the winning strategy to fuel growth in the organization. And when you combine these three things together, which is creative automations, and experiments, you truly become a growth hacker. So now, growth hacking is, again, as I told you, it's not just a process or something written on the piece of stone. It's very flexible. And the problem with growth hacking is it keeps on changing. For example, the first thing you need to start thinking like a growth hacker. It's very important to have the true mindset which can help you to become a growth hacker initially. So I'll give you an example over here. For example, hotmail.com. Initially hotmail.com, when they launched, there were two people who made Hotmail based out of US. Now, this was the first email services which was there even before Gmail as well. But they tried doing everything. I mean, they tried putting a hoarding, they tried putting pamphlets, flyers, and they were telling people to sign up on Hotmail, and remove the redundant facts and start using emails rather. But at that point in time, emails were not that popular, and nobody wanted to basically start opening an email just like that. So what they did is they thought of a simple hack where at the bottom of the email, whenever somebody sent an email from Hotmail for free, at the bottom of the email, they wrote PS, it's free, and you can sign up on hotmail.com too. By just adding these two lines, what happened is their subscribers, I mean, the people who were signing up on Hotmail, were increased by 3,000 people per day. Earlier, they were getting 3,000 people per month, right? And later on, when this one email came to India, they got almost a lakh people coming online in one single day. The simple growth hack by writing a PS at the bottom of the footer of the email. Now, we've seen a similar growth hack that happens today. Any software company that gives free software, so normally write powered by Google or powered by Hunter.io or some other software as well. So same growth hack which is used. But problem with growth hacks are they get old very fast, which is why it's not a process written in stone. You need to have a growth mindset. You know, to keep on thinking that how can you start increasing the firm's revenue by implementing small growth hacks just like this. So now let's understand that which are the different companies who have grown through growth hacking, right? And what this company actually did. So the first company I want to share with you now is this company called Airbnb. I'm sure you must have heard about Airbnb, right? So what Airbnb did initially when they started their renting services, they used to basically tell people to take a part of the room and rent it out on the site itself. And whenever any customer used to come to their houses, Airbnb used to take a percentage of charges from them. Typically between 20-30% is what Airbnb charges. Now, though now Airbnb is super famous, but when they started off initially, nobody was familiar about Airbnb. In fact, it was a completely new concept for them. So the question is, how did Airbnb go? And how did Airbnb become Airbnb today? So when they look at the analytics, the data, they figure out that the maximum people who are coming to Airbnb and booking those small rooms are from this website called Craigslist. And they figure out all the Craigslist buyer, if they start, putting their houses on the website, it would be fantastic. They'll get free listings. So what they did is they did a small growth hack where they went to Craigslist and they scraped all the data of people who had putting their houses on Craigslist and they actually put that data in the Airbnb initially. By doing that, they got a lot of suppliers, a lot of people who wanted to rent out their houses for absolutely free. And then to kind of promote it further, they also put in a button in the website saying, with one click, they can put to Craigslist. So Craigslist is like a OLX of US, okay, where people can actually put in the listings and then people see and people buy, and people can actually rent out properties for a day or two or three or whatever it is. Now, by simply doing integration with Craigslist, Airbnb's user base and customer base grew up overnight. That's how the company grew with a simple growth hack of just by putting a share button on their website to Craigslist. Now, if you see today also, a lot of blogs, a lot of websites, they normally have this shareable buttons in their website as well. That fuels more traffic and more growth for your website too. And also you start getting free customers because somebody who really likes your content, which you're writing on the blog, when they simply share it, it would be quite amazing for people as well. So that's basically Airbnb. Let me show you one more example of Dropbox. Now, initially, Dropbox, they were spending huge amount of money on Google advertising campaigns to get people to use Dropbox. So, for people who do not know what Dropbox is like an earlier version of Google Drive. So, Google Drive came in later, but Dropbox was the first shareable drives online. The people used to put in files and folders, and they can share it with their friends and family. Now, Dropbox was almost spending and getting acquisition cost of $15 per user when they were initially started with Google Ads, and later on became almost $100. The subscription fee for Dropbox, okay, is hardly $19. That means they were losing revenue with every sale that they're making through Google Ads. Now the question is, how did they stop it, and how did they grow further? How did they make it more scalable for themselves? So what they did is they started telling people that if you start inviting your friends, right, then they will, and for every friend you invite, they'll give you a 1 GB space for absolutely free. And overnight, by doing this simple growth hack of referral schemes, Dropbox actually became the number one file sharing company in those days. And today, I'm sure that most of you must be having a Dropbox account and using Dropbox before and also, right? That's how Dropbox grew, but a simple referral scheme. If you notice, the same scheme today is followed by OnePlus, or it's also followed by your Zomato, and a lot of these application companies using this shareable referral code system, where if somebody clicks on your link and they buy something, you get some percentage or you get some free additional bonuses from the company. Again, this is a simple growth hack which a lot of companies are using right now. But the first one was Dropbox. Now you look at Uber. So if you remember when Uber came to India, initially everyone was sharing you with Uber, Uber shareable codes, wherein your friend was telling you that, okay, you know what, take my particular link and you make an Uber account from there, so that you'll get a free ride and I'll get a free ride, right? Now, if you wonder that, Uber technically is almost spending 1,000 rupee for every new customer acquisition. Why? Because 500 rupees given to the customer, and 500 rupees given to the referee who's referring the link to the opposite person. But what if I tell you they were not spending 1,000 bucks, they were saving 1,500 bucks? You'll ask me how. So the thing is that when they're running Google Ads, the per acquisition cost of a user, that means to acquire one person to sign up on Uber, was costing them 2,500 rupees. But by giving a free ride worth 500 rupees, they were able to acquire the same user for 1,000 rupees, right? And imagine they were saving 1,500 rupees per referral, absolutely free, using this growth hack of referral, right? And you look at Pinterest, they had a similar strategy where you cannot just come on Pinterest. You have to get an invite from somebody who's already on Pinterest. That works for them. Even OnePlus did the same strategy. Now PayPal. Now PayPal's growth hacking was one of the most brilliant growth hacks that I've ever seen so far. So what PayPal did, PayPal initially, they started capturing eBay audience. So they went to eBay and they started buying goods from eBay initially. Now, the only condition when they bought the goods from eBay was that the opposite vendor should sign up on PayPal for accepting payments. And if it didn't sign up, they did not purchase the goods. So the vendor thought, okay, doesn't make any difference. Let me just go and sign up on PayPal. And like this, they actually made a bot, and this bot kept on purchasing items from eBay every single day. And that's how maximum people will start having PayPal accounts. Later on, what they did is they took all the goods that they purchased and they put it back on eBay for sale, to other people as well. That's how they made money also by selling the goods, and they also got the users for absolutely free by having this small, simple hack of forcing people, by giving them incentive by purchasing the products, by forcing them to open PayPal accounts. This again a growth hack. So if you see, all the company who grew are not by chance. It was basically a consistent, successful growth hacks that enabled them to grow. So the question is that, are you ready to have growth mindset for yourself? I'll share with you one of my growth hacks. So recently, in this lockdown, we started training people, right? And initially when we train people, it's just train open-ended. I mean, we should take workshops which was quite open-ended workshops. Now, one of the things that growth hack that we applied is when you have to teach a particular topic, the more specific you are in your business, the better it is. For example, rather than just giving a gold ring to people, the moment you say it's a gold ring for wedding, the price of the gold ring actually goes up, because wedding is a very important affair in the person's life, right? So when you give specificity to a particular product, you can start asking for more value from the opposite customer. It's also a classic neuroscience hack, if you go to see. So what we did is, rather than keeping a workshop which is open, we did a specific workshop just for teachers. We trained over 15,000 teachers live during lockdown, right? Then we used a referral scheme. We told those teachers that, hey, why don't you refer your students to do a workshop? And we're doing workshops especially for students. That's how we trained 30,000 students at one go in one webinar itself. So if you notice, these were also classic growth hacks that is done by us to get maximum audience by making a workshop extremely specific to a particular audience. So, essentially, if you see, now the question is, how can you start doing growth hacking? And what is the process? If you want to do growth hack, how can you go about it? So the first thing is you need to understand what's a funnel. Now, funnel is a step-by-step process through which you acquire the customer and ultimately you nurture him to purchase a particular product. Now, if you see a typical digital marketer, his entire focus is just on acquisition of the customer. But a growth hacker will not just acquire the customer; he'll also activate. Activate means he gives them a user experience in such a way that basically he becomes your fan. For example, if you notice, a lot of time is spent on this concept called UX and UI. UX stands for user experience, UI stands for user interface, right? So when you look at a Uber app or a Ola app or a Zomato or a Swiggy or an Amazon, though they've got millions and millions of products, but it's very easy to navigate the entire application. You can select and you can choose the product that you're looking for. That's not by chance. There's a lot of experimentation done on that particular thing, after which, after thorough research, they have come up with, you know, a user experience which will be rewarding for the user and for the company as well. So they activate and they give such a beautiful experience that the person has to come back again, right? Then the next is a growth hacker also works on retention of the customer. Retention means they keep on giving them some experience, some freebies, and something or some other incentives to keep on coming back, so that the user becomes a repeat purchaser. He doesn't just become a one-time person who purchases a particular good, right? So it's very, very important that you understand that the money is not made by just by acquiring customer once. The money is actually made when you acquire customer, when the same customer keeps on buying from you different things. A classic example of this is, look at McDonald's. Initially, McDonald's and Domino's, how did they become big? They became big because when you used to go to a McDonald's or a Domino's, they used to give you a packet. And when they give you a packet, they used to give a coupons with it. And in the coupons, it was, get one McAloo Tikki free with another McAloo Tikki, or buy a McVeggie and get a Coke free, right? And people used to go back to McDonald's or Domino's to basically redeem that coupon, because that coupon had a validity with them. And that exactly is what I normally call this, retention, where you give an incentive to get the customer keep on coming back to your business, right? And finally, when you retain the customer, you start making revenue. So basically, you start making more money. And when you start making money and they become your fans, you start asking for referrals. So we normally call this the R system, or the R funnel of growth hacking. So you have to basically remember this, that if you want to do a growth hack, you need to have the R strategy for yourself. So, what are the growth hacking methods right now? And what are the most common methods? The first method is referral marketing. We normally see in Zomato or Uber, if you refer somebody, they give you some points or they give you some cash back, which you can utilize to purchase a particular product. Right. Second concept is called OPN. OPN stands for other people's network. It simply means that rather than leveraging your own network, you start leveraging other people's network. For example, I'm so happy that I'm over here, and if you notice, I'm able to speak to you because I'm using a network of DigiGrad right now, right? And I'm tapping into their audience. That's called other people's network. So even this is a classic growth hack. We keep on speaking, or you keep on leveraging and doing partnership and collaborations with other people who got network. And you do what you do the best. It is you basically either deliver on a particular product or give a particular service. Then third is what we call as other people's money, where you don't really invest in technology or particular product. You again partner with somebody and you start asking them to invest and just market for yourself, and you start giving a commission on that. So look at drop shipping model. You know what drop shipping is? Drop shipping is where you can actually start selling goods, you know without owning them. So let's take for example, as a manufacturer who makes a baby t-shirts, and you are somebody who's got a big mommy network. You're a mommy blogger. What you can do is you can tie up with this particular manufacturer and you can ask him to invest money in manufacturing products, and you can do the marketing for it. So you're not investing a single rupee, but you're basically using somebody else's money to grow your business and ultimately earn a referral commission on every sale that you make. That's other people's money. Then we also call this neuromarketing. Now, what is neuromarketing? Neuromarketing basically is the art and science of looking at data and analytics and figuring out how can you basically make the particular packaging more psychological. What if I tell you that when you see the Lay's packet, the American onion packet in the green color, when you see a Cadbury in purple color, it's not by chance. It's actually a proven method that these colors entice people to go and notice the particular food packet and ultimately go and buy it. I'm going to show you a tool which can help you to do neuromarketing effectively. Right. The next is what we call is A/B testing. What's A/B testing? A/B testing is we keep on running experiments. So rather than, for example, if you're running a Facebook ad or a Google ad, now, rather than running one single campaign, you can actually run 4 or 5 campaigns together. And when you start running about 4 or 5 campaigns together, you figure out which campaign is doing better for you. Whichever campaign does the best, you leave it. Whichever campaign does not do good, you stop it. Right? And that's called A/B testing. Also, there's something called as power of reciprocity. Reciprocity simply means that you do something good and somebody else will do good for you. So over here, typically again, you start collaborating with people or you start enticing people to work with you. I'll tell you a classic growth hack. If you remember in between, Narendra Modi, he invited the former President Barack Obama to India, not via a formal letter or a formal invitation, but on Twitter, right? Now, when he did on Twitter, it created a lot of political pressure between two best presidents of the world, and which is sorry, two best prime ministers of the world, and which is why Barack Obama obliged and he basically came to India for a particular function, right? So that's again power of reciprocity. You do something good for the opposite person, and the other person does good for you. And the last is what we call is scarcity. Scarcity simply means when you start putting a particular product or feature in place, you normally tell that it's for limited time. So you normally, so must see when you go to a particular site to buy a particular goods, they normally tell you that hey, this is for limited time, or this particular price is only valid for next 24 hours. Like for example, on Amazon and Flipkart, you normally see a deal of the day, right? That's works on scarcity model, where they give you a particular price slash only for a certain amount of hours, and if you buy it, good. If you don't buy it, their offer is gone forever, right? So you can also apply these growth hack techniques in your product and your services to make it go to the next level. Are you guys currently loving all these growth hacks right now? Give me a quick yes in the YouTube chat box in case you're loving this so far and you think it's really valuable for you, what you've been learning right now, right? So let's get into some action and let me kind of show you some tools which you can use to do your growth hacking effectively. The first tool I'm going to show you is this thing called as brandbuilder.ai. It's a branding growth hack. Now, if you're an entrepreneur and if you're starting up your business and you want to make your logo, you want to make your cover photo, you want to make your brand guideline and you don't have the money for it, well, don't worry about it. You can do so with this tool, which is called brandbuilder.ai. Let me show you a quick demo of this tool, which will help you to understand this better. Let's take, for instance, I just go to the fresh email like this, okay, and I can just type this thing called brandbuilder.ai. When you come over here, just click on get started, and let's say for example I don't have a logo right now, so I can just choose I need a logo. And what kind of logo I want? Do I want simple? Do I want modern? Do I want playful, natural, or vintage? Let me keep it modern, and I'll put a company name. Let's say I put a company name as Skillopedia, a presenter. And my icon, let's say my icon has to be related to, let's take training presenter. You can see over here they got multiple icons over here. And let's take for example that I choose my icon to be my logo. I can choose any one of the logos out here for my own business. Let me just pick and choose something more playful. Let me just go ahead and choose this one. I think more simple over here. Let me just put this one. Okay. So you can see my logo is made automatically over here. Now, whatever font and whatever size, I can just pick up those things from here. Let me just pick up. I think this is better, right? Then I choose the color scheme for myself. Let me just choose a bigger color scheme. Let me just choose this color scheme, right? And that's it. My logo is made. This is my logo. This is my visiting card. This is my headline. This is my, my color schemes, my cover photo. It's my brand book, by the way. My logo, my monograms, my hex code of my color scheme, which I can give to my designer to make it, right? My headline, my gradients, and my patterns, right? And I can simply take these assets and download them, and I can use them from here. How many of you guys over here found this to be extremely, extremely wow? Give me a quick wow on chat box. You think this is so easy to make a quick logo for yourself, right? Sorry, I just stay nearby the airport, so the planes keep on flying by. But sorry for that. All right, let me show you the next one. Did you find this to be super amazing, guys? It's called brandbuilder.ai. So remember this tool, it's quite amazing. Let's do a second tool. Now, second time is, like as I told you, you need to check some data for somebody. correct? um, and this data over here is something, suppose you want to figure out data for your competition on Twitter, and you want to figure out what they write, how they write, what they do. So I can simply go to this website called Twitternomy, where I can figure out about any competition of mine or anybody influential on Twitter, and I can check what do they do right now. Okay, so let's say I go over here, and I just have sign up from my tool on Twitternomy, which is called sign up to from my Twitter account from here, and let me just sign in. Now, when I sign in over here, okay, this tool can help me to analyze anybody's Twitter account. So let's just go to Twitter. Let's basically check any particular influential person whom you want to check out and whom you want to figure out about, what they do on Twitter. So let's just pick up any handle of my choice. Mm, okay, let's look at Virat Kohli. Let's see what Virat Kohli does on Twitter. So I can just simply copy his handle. I come back over here and I just paste it and I press enter. When I do this, this tool will quickly tell me about Virat Kohli and what does he do on Twitter. The first things first, if you see, Virat Kohli has done about 2,200 tweets. He does about 0.56 tweets per day, which really means that he tweets once in 2 days. He retweets very less, replies to a lot of people, right? He's been very active recently in 2020. In one day, in fact, one of these days, he did approximately 65 tweets. The other days, he hardly does any tweets. He does not more than one or two tweets every day. He retweets, move acoustics, stay wrong, BCCI, KP24, Harbhajan Singh, Shrivats, Narendra Modi, ICC. So you can see that he's really in cricket, right? He replies to again Sachin Tendulkar, Harbhajan Singh, KP24, UV Strong, Shikhar Dhawan, etc. He mostly mentions Anushka Sharma, obviously she's wife, FC Goa official, maybe he's invested in the team or he's a brand ambassador for it. RCB, obviously he's in the team, and Stay Wrong is his own brand, and Sachin as well. Hashtag most used is this hashtag called 18 Stay Strong for C Goa. Okay, grateful. His most retweeted tweet is this one. Today we have promised each other a bond and love forever. We are truly blessed to share the news with you. And actually got a baby boy. I mean, they got a baby, not boy or girl. When they got a baby, that's the most retweeted tweet, got about 83,000 retweets. And the most time he's active on is on Wednesday. The best time he tweets on is a UTC, it's a US time. So India time is about 5 p.m. and it's about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And he normally tweets from this Android phone, then Webline, and then BlackBerry initially as well. Right. So this is basically his entire summary of Twitter account. Similarly, you can actually pick up any of your competitors' Twitter account and you can actually check what they do and how they go about it, what they really do about it. How did you find this tool, people? It's called twitternomy.com, right? One of the best growth hacks I've ever seen. So whenever I have to analyze anybody's account, I don't really waste my time looking at their account. I simply go to this tool, put in their account, figure out what they do, and that's it. I can simply check every single thing about them. Okay. Then I'm going to show you the next tool, which is going to really, blow your mind away. It's called Smart Look. So Smart Look basically is a tool which can help you to analyze. It's like an MRI scan for your website. So in case you got a website and if you're not using this tool, I would say that you should start using this tool for yourself because it's one of the best tools I've ever seen for analyzing any particular account. So let's take for example that somebody visited my site approximately some time back, and I want to figure out what he or she does. So when I play this button over here, I can actually check, you know, uh, what. So it will give me a step-by-step summary on what people did, where did he go. So I can see somebody just filled up a quiz data on my website. Where did she go? Did she play the quiz or not? If she played the quiz, what does she do about it? I can actually check all of those things over here. So you can see, this is the world's toughest quiz, and I can actually check any user activity which is happening on my site right now. So I don't know her name, I don't know her phone number, I don't know anything about her, but this helps me analyze where do people click, how do they click, where do they don't click. It's like an X-ray machine scan for your website, right? And you can see people are currently playing the quiz. She is putting across the answers to each and every question of this. I can see how much time she spent, what is the event they did, where did they go, what pages they watched. So from here, I can actually track people's user behavior, and from there I can figure out. So whenever you're making a website, you have to install this tool, which is called Smart Look. That's how growth hackers can figure out where do you click, how do you click, and where do you typically go, right? And if you're not doing this right now, trust me, guys, you're missing out. You're missing out on a lot of on a lot of tools and a lot of hacks which you can actually do for yourself in business. Did you guys find this tool to be super amazing? And how many of you guys over here are amazed and dazed that this is also possible through a website? Right? Give me a quick awesome on the chat box in case you found this to be super awesome till now. Right? This is again one of my best tools which I actually use every single time to notice what people actually do. Right? Okay, let's go next then. The next, okay, which you can, the next tool and the last tool for today, which I'm going to show you, is this tool called Hunter.io. Now, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, I'm sure that you need a lot of data. I mean, you require somebody's email address. How many people over here struggle finding email addresses of people that you want to reach out to? And you basically keep on wondering that I wish I could, get the person's email address to start sending an email to the opposite person. Well, if that's your query, then let me tell you, all your worries are going to end right now. So let me give you a live example over here. Let's take, for example, that I want to currently figure out an email address with somebody from DigiGrad right now, right? So I open DigiGrad's website, and let's take, for instance, that I want to contact Lavanya, and I want to, let's take, for example, probably approach her for taking guest sessions at her institute. So how do I go about it? I just open DigiGrad, I copy this, I come back to this hunter.io. First, I have to make an account over here. Then I just put the website and I press enter. So when I do this, what's going to happen is this tool is going to give me the email ID pattern. Like as you can see over here, the pattern is first name at the digigrad.in, right? And I can simply click on, so I can simply use this tool, okay? And I can guess, okay, like, Lavanya's ID will be Lavanya at the rate digigrad.in, right? And I can figure out. So let me give one more example. Let's take if I do social beat, right? And let's take I take social beat. I copy this thing over here and I paste it. Okay. So this tool will you see the pattern over here. First address socialbeat.in. Let's take for example that Lavanya was working over here. I will type just her name. I type Lavanya and I press enter. Right, Lavanya you I press enter. Okay. Let's take I just do Priyanka Roy because I don't know Lavanya's last name. But then if it's Priyanka Roy, her ID would be Priyanka at the social media.in, right? And then I can quickly, copy this email address from here and I can save it and I can send across. So this only works for a big corporate though, people who have got, corporate email IDs. If you see any corporates, they have a email ID which is very similar. It's first dot last at the rate xyz.com. Like for example, my company pattern at Skillopedia Group is, Hitesh at the rate skillopediagroup.com. So similar to that, everybody has a pattern. So let's say if you approach a partner, Roshni, her ID is Roshni at skillopediagroup.com. So if you know a full name, you can guess the email address. But sometimes you do not know about it. So what you can simply do is use this tool, put in the the website name, and then you put in the name of the person that you want to find the email ID for. You can figure out that. Now, just in case you're wondering how to find the name, best thing is to go to LinkedIn and you can figure out from there. So let's take if I do not know Lavanya's name, I can simply go to LinkedIn. I can type Lavanya, or I can check Lavanya Digigrad or Lavanya Upgrad, Lavanya Social Beat. So I already have, Lavanya. Okay. Lavanya U Digigrad. Right, I can basically figure out what's the name. So it's Lavanya U only, and I can then put this and I can use it for myself. So it's very simple and quite easy actually. Which one can use for yourself. For example, Vikram Kharvi is a good friend of mine. He's basically in Art Factors. Find his email address. I can simply copy it and I can figure out that as well. Right. So these are all the tools which is there which will help you to growth hack. Right. So I already showed you. First tool was brandbuilder.ai. Second was Autonomy, right? Then SmartLook, then Hunter. Did you find this tool to be super amazing, guys? And do you think it will make your life easy? Give me a loud yes on the chat box in case you feel so, right? Now, let me show you one more tool Okay, this other tool is called UpViral. So UpViral is again a viral marketing tool. Now, just in case if you want to run what we call as viral marketing campaigns, right, for yourself. So you can simply, go to upviral.com, sign up, and you can play contests over here. For example, you can say, get this particular thing, or get this particular, ebook or, goodies for free if you invite 5 of your friends and they sign up. Right. So when those 5 friends sign up to get the free ebook, they will start sending message to more 5 friends. Then those 5 will send message to more 5 friends. So this is what we call as viral marketing. So UpViral tool helps you do that. Well, it's not really free. It will charge you $1 for about a month initially, and then it'll charge you a bit more. But it is worth it. You know why? Because imagine if you had to make that entire tech or referral marketing, it will cost you a bomb. So rather start using UpViral for viral marketing campaigns for yourself. If you notice, the way these tools were made, was to basically keep in mind the same logic. For example, Smart Loop is more to do with its data and integrations, right? UpViral is more to do with the referral marketing. Autonomy again do with data, right? Hunter to do with reaching out to customers, lead generation, right? So these tools were specifically made in mind keeping the necessity for entrepreneurs, right? And even brand builder for logo designing and your brand assets and brand book for yourself, right? These are 5 tools I would highly recommend you start using after this webinar today, and you start making one for yourself. So how many people over here will use these tools? Give me a quick I will on the chat box. Ingrid will use these tools, right? And because I want all of you to utilize this for yourself. Let me show you some case studies, as I told you, right? Let me show you the case study for Airbnb right now, which is going to really blow your mind away. Okay, let me just do that.
Expensive rent in their San Francisco apartment. In 2007, roommates Joe Gabbia and Brian Chesky were struggling to pay the increasingly expensive rent in their San Francisco apartment. They noticed a major conference was coming to town, and thus, hotel rooms were expensive and in short supply. The duo decided to buy 3 air mattresses and threw up airbedandbreakfast.com to advertise their deal. For $80 a night, you could sleep on an air mattress in their loft and get Pop-Tarts in the morning. It wasn't glamorous, but 3 people took them up on their offer. The guests were happy to have saved hundreds of dollars on lodging, and the roommates were happy to have made some extra cash. The startup attracted a few more customers, but convincing people to live in a stranger's apartment was a tough sell. Within a year, Gabbia and Chesky were $40,000 in credit card debt. So how did the founders turn Airbnb's fortunes around? The answer, a series of brilliant growth hacks. Gabbia and Chesky's first strategy was to find a city that would be swarming with potential customers. The opportunity came in August 2008 when the Democratic National Convention came to Denver. There were 4 times as many attendees as available hotel rooms, so Airbnb set up shop in Denver and got a flood of business. Airbnb was still short on money and publicity, so its founders decided to make some quick money by selling limited edition Obama O's and Captain McCain cereal for $40 per box during the height of presidential campaigning in 2008. Each cereal box also contained an advertisement for Airbnb. The cereal was a huge hit, and the team raised $30,000 from the project. Seeing this, renowned venture capitalist and Y Combinator co-founder Paul Graham famously said that if the founders could convince people to buy a $4 box of cereal in a stranger's room, he accepted the Airbnb team into Y Combinator, the prestigious startup accelerator. Airbnb finally started to get investments, gain traction, and improve their product. The startup entered a period of modest growth, but what really helped Airbnb grow into the huge company it is today was a pair of clever growth hacks. In 2009, Airbnb was trying to take off in New York City, but was struggling to get guests. Looking at the 40 NYC listings on their platform, the founders noticed that hosts were snapping amateur shots on their phone cameras with low resolution and bad angles. Gabbia and Chesky jumped on a flight to New York, rented a $5,000 camera, and took professional photos of all their listed properties for free. Although this strategy wasn't exactly scalable, it helped Airbnb double their weekly revenue in New York practically overnight. In 2010, Airbnb orchestrated one of the most infamous and brilliant growth hacks in tech history. The team realized that most of their target audience, people who needed lodging but didn't want to stay in hotels, was on the classified ads website Craigslist. So, Airbnb found a way to automatically cross-post all Airbnb listings to Craigslist. Because Airbnb offered free professional photography at the time, Airbnb posts on Craigslist naturally stood out. People who clicked on the posts would be rerouted to the official listing on Airbnb.com. Although Craigslist eventually caught on and disabled this hack, hundreds of thousands of people had already discovered Airbnb, and these happy customers started going straight to Airbnb for future lodging needs. This strategy of importing a bigger platform's user base is now a classic around Silicon Valley. Today, over 2 million people stay in an Airbnb every night. Airbnb's product and user experience are great, but what really propelled Airbnb to its current success was its founders' creativity, knowledge of viral marketing, and willingness to use bold growth hacks. These skills are all essential for any technologist or entrepreneur's toolkit.
So I hope you enjoyed this, this growth hack, and you really got to learn a lot with this growth hack. So now I'm ready for some question answers. Just in case you have any questions, you want to ask me anything, feel free. I'm more than happy to answer you. But I hope you enjoyed the session and it was quite valuable for all of you.
Thank you, Hitesh. It was a really informative session for all of us. And the comment section is full of wow, yes, and I will try. So I think people are loving it. And as you said, they have comment accordingly. So moving on to the question and answer session. So we have some questions asked by some of them. Firstly, talking to Madhu on Instagram, she is asking that how important is creativity in growth hacking?
So, I mean, it's very critical if you really ask me, because that's the first step. I mean, you have to think different. A normal growth hacker doesn't think like a typical digital marketer. He will think of ways and means in which, he can actually be extremely creative and something very, very different. So one of the things I would recommend is, in case, you want to, start doing creatively, start writing on trends. I mean, look at Amul, right? Amul has been doing marketing for years with real-time trends and real-time marketing, correct? And that's what you should be doing. When you look at, Amul's branding, nothing less than a growth hack, which is put a simple cartoon on real-time images. That's quite creative, but that's what brings Amul that brand recall every single time. And a lot of media, a lot of PR, a lot of people on social media keep on sharing these images as well, right? So that's what I think one should do to make your growth hack successful. So it's extremely important.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, another question from Abhishek Kumar on YouTube. What do you think is the secret sauce for growth hacking for startup?
So one of the things is, experiments. I mean, I see a lot of startups, they basically don't experiment much and they become quite stagnant after some time. So I think if you really want to, do something, you have to basically experiment. You have to do A/B testing. The more A/B testing you do, the better it will become for you, right? So ensure that you keep on testing it. You keep on, doing a lot of experiments, and then pick and choose the best one, and most importantly, know when to stop a bad campaign, right? So if you don't pull back, then again it might result in huge losses for you. So that's what I would recommend.
Yes. Thank you. Another question from Abrahami on YouTube. Is growth hacking any different from usual marketing?
Obviously it is, because if you see all these ideas and all, I mean, though now they look pretty much similar, but when they were born, that time they were not similar. So the problem with growth hacking is the ideas get copied very fast. So if you keep on thinking about new ways to do growth hack, to kind of keep on generating more and more revenue for a startup. For example, if you go to booking.com, nowadays what they started doing is, initially they should do this. They should say, last two rooms available at this price. It doesn't mean that there are last two rooms available in the hotel. It is just at this particular price. And they should just put 1 rupee up and down, and they have to basically put a new price again, right? Simple growth hack, but very effective. People should feel this last two rooms, let me go and buy it before anybody else goes and buys it, right? So this is different than other people. Nobody does this. So you have to keep on thinking differently.
Right. Yes. Another question from Anmol. He's asking that can you tell an example for OPN method?
So OPN exactly is what we are doing right now. Like For example, I'm leveraging network of DigiGrad right now, social beat. It's not my network, it's their network, but I'm just coming and sharing my knowledge. It's a win-win for both of them. Win-win for me because I get to meet new people, and win-win for them because they get fantastic content, courtesy this. So basically, that's OPN. Other example of OPN is where two brands do cross collaboration. For example, let's take Vero Motor ties up with John Todd Begin as a salon, right? So Vero Moda will start promoting their customers JCB coupons, and JCB will start promoting their customers Vero Moda coupons, right? So
Right.
that's your
Yes.
OPNs.
Yes, right. Understood. Thank you so much. And last question from Rajiv. He's asking that I'm using YouTube channel to do marketing of different products from different company owners. Is this an example of growth hack?
Yes, I mean that's what you're doing OPN right now, right? So basically when you start putting somebody else's video, they start sharing that particular video with their friends and their family, right? And you're getting views courtesy because they are getting featured on your video. So that's what
Right.
typically a growth hack is. Yep.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. It was really an informative session for everyone, and everybody loved it because they have mentioned in the comment section that wows, yes, and they will try that. Thank you so much. So before I end this webinar, just a request to fill up the feedback form so that we can get the feedback from all the participants of the webinar for today. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot
Thank
for
you so
joining.
much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.